What's up, everybody? We're looking at my first FPV setup, which I think is perfect for starting off the year 2022. We're going to take a look at the contents within the box, and then we'll talk about my experience setting these things up and getting it into the air. Welcome to Life of Acro. I'm Acro Brandon, and this is my life. And I feel like it is time to finally upgrade and transition to the dark side and getting into FPV. So I chose a digital setup. I knew analog probably just wasn't going to give me the user experience that I wanted, and I started with something a little bit more simple to fly with a cinewhoop. So I got the iFlight Protek 35, which is a 3.5-inch cinewhoop. I got the DJI remote controller over here, and then we got the DJI goggles. So let's take a look at all the contents. I'm not going to do a official unboxing where you watch me rip everything out. I'm just going to lay it all up here on the desk and kind of talk about the pros and cons, or what I think about what I've gotten so far, and things that might help you if you're just starting to get into FPV as well. So let's start off with the drone first. I'm not going to go into all the specs. This drone is about a year old, but it is digital, and it comes with the Cadec Vista, which is a DJI air unit type of deal, so that you can get that digital feed. This thing was $400, comes pre-assembled, it's bind and fly, and all you got to do is put the little bumpers on the side if you want them, and you have to do a little bit of syncing to get the remote and the goggles lined up here. Now, as someone who has owned a DJI Spark, it kind of sucked, but it was a DJI product, so it was pretty much plug and play and ready to go. And the Skydio 2, the user experience with those is quite easy, right? You take it out of the box, you power it up. With the Skydio, you hook the remote to the drone, you hook your beacon to the drone, everything syncs, and you could probably be up and flying within 10 to 15 minutes. The experience here of getting this all to come together did take a little bit of effort, and I'm going to link to another video that I watched. You do have to go to the DJI website and download DJI Assistant, and then you plug each individual item into the computer. You can update the software. That probably takes 10 to 15 minutes. And then there was also a little issue of getting the remote and the goggles to pair to the air unit. It took a little bit of trial and error. I don't know why. It wasn't because it was a newbie, but there's a little bit more of setup process. If you think that you're going to be able to fly this 15 minutes after it arrives on the doorstep, think again, because you also need to charge everything up. However, the drone comes ready to go, right? You have the little prop guards, and in order to gain access to the air unit, it's right underneath here. I'll show you a picture here in just a second. You will want a small little tool set to remove this so that you can reach the bind button, because it's a little difficult to get to. But if you move the strap here to the side, you'll see that there's a USB-C port, which will give you easy access if you need to update the air unit through the DJI Assistant, which was convenient. And then on the bottom side, you need to be really careful. There is another like USB, I think A port right here that you can use when you plug this thing into beta flight, and in case you want to change right from angle mode, which is how this comes shipped to you, so that you can put it in acro to do flips and all this other stuff. So the drone alone comes by itself, and obviously you are going to have to buy some batteries, and this is one of the drawbacks to having FPV. The question is do you do lipos, do you do lithium ion? And as somebody who comes from electric skateboards and is a DIY guy, and we do lithium ion there the whole time, I decided that I was going to buy one lipo to start so I could get flying right away. And then I actually bought some lithium ion batteries that I'm going to build on my own to see if I can increase the flight time. Because right now this battery is getting me, I don't know, I've only had one flight, but I feel like I only got 6 minutes of flight time out of it, which isn't bad. But coming from more consumer drones that have a flight time of over 15 to 25 minutes, you got to be really resourceful with the amount of time that you spend when you're flying, right? Right. So while we're on the topic of batteries, before I switch gears to the other products, I decided that I was going to get 8 batteries, which is 2 4S batteries of these Molicel P42As. These have about 4,000 milliamps or 4 amp hours of capacity, and they are the highest rated amp output cell on the market, and they're a 21700 at 45 amps of output. So this should be good for longer flights. I don't know if this is really going to be the best cell if you want to do like high acro type of stuff with a 5 or a 6 inch quad, where you're trying to do all sorts of crazy flips and stuff, and you need the energy to punch out before hitting the ground and do other crazy stuff. But we're going to find out. And this only cost me, I don't know, $50, so that I can build 2 cells, and because I can build them myself because I have all of the stuff to do that, it's going to be a lot cheaper than actually buying them off the shelf from somebody else. So if you're a DIY battery builder, this might be an option for you, and of course it is for me. So let's take a look at the remote and the goggles and how I feel about that. So the controller itself is pretty sleek. It comes with a battery, and everything needs to be activated with a power cable if you've never had a DJI product before. So you do need to plug it in order to activate the battery, and there's a battery that also comes with the goggles. But it's sleek, it sets up really easy, right? The sticks feel nice. They have adjustment knobs underneath here, and then you have your different, arm and disarm switches and different things that you can program, all of which I don't really know a whole lot about yet. I just followed the tutorial that I linked earlier, and that'll also be in the description. On some basic startup settings that you can use and how these can help you, like arming the beeper so if it gets lost you can hear it beeping in the woods and track it down, things like that. So that was pretty easy. I am a little bit disappointed that it doesn't come with a little lanyard so that you can hold the controller right here. So luckily I do have another one from my Tyrannus X7 that I bought when the pandemic started so that I could fly a virtual sim. So I will use that one for this right here, but that would have been a nice touch, especially when this thing is like in the $200 to $300 range. But setting it up and getting it going was the easiest part of syncing all the things. Now let's talk about the goggles. These goggles are awesome. I feel like I should be in Top Gun or something right now. But out of the box, right, you get your 4 sets of antennas which can screw in and install easily. Then you've got this head strap that comes on right here. It's pretty straightforward. It does have an SD card slot so that you can record directly from the goggles to an SD card, just for backup or in case. It comes with USB ports. It comes with a power cable and a little battery, which looks like this. I am a little bit disappointed that it doesn't come with some kind of additional clip so that you can strap it to the back of the goggle right here on the strap, because I have seen other people flying with it attached here. So I'm gonna have to figure out what they're using or where they got it from, but that might be a nice addition. I'll probably just end up using some sticky Velcro or something like that if I can find something, instead of just having this thing dangling from here and then dropping and putting it in a pocket or something like that. But maybe I'm complaining and it's a little too soon to tell. Now, as I said, all of these things need to be bound, right? Synced to the air unit. I was expecting everything to come plug and play right out of the box because I bought it as one whole kit, but I also understand why you will need a little bit of time to sync everything up. But like I said, you got to go to the DJI website. It'll prompt you through what thing you need to plug in what order, and you do that. That's the easy part. The harder part was getting it to sync up, and I don't know why. I'm usually pretty good at binding things. But like I said, you will need to unscrew some of these screws so that you can get some access, right? Getting the goggle to go into pairing mode took me 4 or 5 attempts, and I'm not sure why. I mean, it's really simple. I just hit the button and you wait for it to beep, but it didn't. I don't know. Maybe I just got unlucky that day, and then you hit the bind button, everything goes green, and then it's the most exciting part is when you can actually see the camera seeing something, and you can put the goggles on and you're like, I'm almost there and I'm ready. So first flight experience, since I'm new to flying FPV, I have flown in the simulator enough times, and I did leave it on angle mode because I didn't want to crash the drone right away, and I'll probably leave it there in a week, although I do feel confident enough to fly it in full acro mode. I just want to make sure that I don't crash my $400 drone right off of the bat, right? Better play it safe than sorry, and I do have a little bit of space. So getting it to take off right off the bat was interesting. I did have the GoPro Hero 9 attached initially, and I don't know if I was just hesitant because it was my first flight to not punch it and give it too much power and have the drone fly off crazy, or if the drone was a little bit weak with the Hero 9, but it should be more than sufficient to do that. So instead, I took the Hero off and I just flew it without, and I did notice that if I kept the sticks at 0, right, not pushing forwards or backwards, that it tended to drift back a little bit. I'm wondering if that's part of the tune to compensate for the extra weight that should be on the front with the GoPro. So we will find out if it flies a little bit more level once I weigh it back down with the GoPro Hero 9 or whatever GoPro you want to use if you're on 10 right now. But it flew pretty good. It's not a fast drone. It's a cinewhoop, right? It's not meant to be a trick type of drone, but I was able to fly it around, right, do some quick little turns around, some orbits and things like that. So I'm excited to see what other type of content I'll be able to create with this, in addition to the Skydio 2, which I still love and is great for those action shots when I just want to ride the electric skateboard or the bike and work on getting some interesting stuff. So hopefully that helps you with your decision-making process if you're thinking about getting the Protek 35 or even a 25, which is a 2.5-inch drone, or what you want to do. But really the setup process of stepping into DJI for the first time is really the big takeaway that you should take from this. And don't worry, you'll be set up in no time and flying in the air. All right, stay tuned. And if you're new here, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you have any questions about FPV or this setup or Skydio, I'll see you guys in another video. All right, thanks.